everyone, Amanda here. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm going to share some of my journaling secrets with you today on how I managed to create journals quickly. And what I'm going to share with you today are my techniques on aging printed vintage ephemera very, very quickly. You can add extra aging and extra interest to a whole pile of this printed ephemera in minutes using my tricks. I'm also going to share 3 different kinds of vintage washer or tape with you. And as an added extra, I've got yet another fun folded pocket for you, made from 1 sheet of paper. There's no gluing, you don't have to measure it, and it's absolutely fabulous fun. Fill it full of things and it's just amazing. So let's get creating. Okay, so we're starting with a non-stick surface. I'm using good old sellotape. Don't put it down flat, let the wrinkles form. It will add more interest. Then I'm using masking tape, just cheap as chips. These are all really cheap, far cheaper than purchasing. And that one is a surgical tape or micropore. Super, super cheap, really cheap. And for the sellotape, you're going to need an alcohol-based ink. No other inks will dry on there. So here I'm using a Ranger. One, it's caramel, or you can use alcohol-based markers. That will work the same. Okay, so have a look what you've got. So I'm dabbing with a sponge, not wiping, dabbing. And I do a few layers because then that alcohol ink will pool and it will add interest. It will sit in the folds where that tape's not down flat and add interest. So on the painter's tape and the surgical tape, you can use anything. I've just used distress ink. And then we can stamp on those with our archival ink. You could stamp on the sellotape as well, but you'd need to use stays on ink. So grab any old stamp, numbers, words, letters, they're always interesting, and just stamp randomly, turn in the stamp in different orientations, and that will give you some really interesting washer. So you can either use it in full strips or you can just use little parts of it. Okay, but that is your handmade washer, super quick and easy. DIY things just add unique touches to your journal. They're always worth doing. Try not to get the ink all over your fingers, else people wonder if you've been smoking 40 cigarettes a day. When I add the tape, I don't cut it straight. I will do a little snip and then rip it with my hands. There you can see I've actually ripped that piece of ephemera and then added the tape on to make it look like it's been repaired. The general idea is to make this ephemera look like it's been through other people's hands and not fresh out of the printer. Crumple it, scrunch it up. Rip little bits off, distress the edges, add your ink, add your little bits of washer. Here you can see I'm cutting it up and adding just little bits. It just makes that ephemera look a little bit different than the original printed version. Anything you can do to just make it look a little bit different. Always fold a corner over and ink it. That's a definite good one. So here's my next tip. Okay, splatters. So get your ephemera all on the desk. Don't do it one at a time. Have the pile there. Move it about and just splatter. And you're doing all the ephemera in one go. Okay, why do one piece of ephemera at a time? You can do it en masse. Your scissors are your best friend for making your distressed edges. They really are. You don't need fancy tools. Here's another tip, mark making. So I've just got a glass jar and I'm painting around the rim with my acrylic ink again. And you can use that to stamp. And again, have the ephemera in a pile and stamp it all at once. And then it will look like it'll give a more random look rather than you've done it on purpose. So you can see I'm stamping and, it's going on more than one page at a time, but you're just catching little bits of it on each little bit of the page. And then we're going to do the same with stamping. So again, have a look what you've got. You don't need special stamps. You don't have to be Tim Holtz. Just anything with a number or a word or anything. And whilst your pages are in a pile, stamp. And as you can see there, I've got my pages that overlap in each other. And I'm stamping on both pages at the same time. It adds to the randomness of it. Okay? And you can do this in minutes. Quick and easy pocket. So I do like to measure things. Okay? So this is it's a ledger journal page, okay? if we turn it on the tall side, and if we measure up 2 inches, measure down 2 inches and make a mark, and measure across 2 inches and make a mark, and we're going to do the same here, the same here, and we're doing it on all 4 corners basically. Okay, we're doing it on, in fact no, we don't need to, we'll just do them 2 and then fold it in half. Okay, so that you've got your fold here and your 2 pieces like that, and then you cut from that line to that line. Doesn't need to be perfect, it's just a guideline, and from that line to that line. Okay, you're cutting all 4 corners at once. Okay, like that. So then you're going to fold this in and just try and meet in the middle. Doesn't need to be perfect, in fact the less perfect the better. Okay, it doesn't matter. Alright, I'm kind of going to where that the cuts that I've made end, yeah, like that, so you can see where the angle finishes, and that's where I've folded to. They just overlap ever so slightly. Okay, then you want to fold this bit up, and you want to decide where you want your next pocket. Do you want it right to the top? Do you want it just there? Do you want it a bit lower? Okay, I'm going to have it just a bit lower. Okay, like so, and then you unfold it. Okay, and then you unfold out, and then on this score here, this fold here, you're going to cut that to the middle. Okay, let's just cut it a bit straighter, Amanda. And this one, don't need to be perfect. Then you're going to turn the whole thing over, and you're going to fold those folds in the opposite direction. Okay, and then you're going to lift that up and then fold those in, and then your V is on that side. If you don't turn it over when you fold it, yeah, you're not going to have that V at the front, you're just going to have that. Okay, but by turning the whole thing over and refolding, yeah, then your V's there. Okay, super simple. That doesn't get any easier. You don't even have to glue it. All right, and then all you need to do is we're going to decorate it. So I think I'll just use a little bit of my fake sellotape, not that big. So now all you need to do is decorate it. So I'm going to use some of my handmade tape there to just close that pocket shut, although it gets covered over when I decorate it, and then just have fun. You've got your little paper clips. These are one of my favourites. I get them from somewhere in China for next to nothing. And then find your ephemera and see what you can put in. You know, I'm adding some fussy cuts there. All you need to do is make yourself a little rectangle. You can see there, I'm literally just doing it by eye. A little rectangle, and by layering up with different colours. I'm going to do my favourite, which is the banner. Layering up with different colours adds extra, makes things pop, makes things stand out. And my favourite word, it's all adding interest. So you've just got yourself a little rectangle. By rounding the corners, it makes it look like a label. Add a little banner. You're adding interest all of the time, and it's all about layers. Okay, that's where the interest is. It draws your eye because there's lots of layers, lots of different things. Adding a little fussy cut, adding a butterfly, and then all we need to do is fill the pockets with the ephemera that we have just aged. And how much fun is that? How easy is it? You can add that to a pocket. You could glue it on 3 sides, you could glue it on 2 sides, you could add a hinge to it, you could do what you like with it, but there you go. And so today we've learned a few techniques on how to make our ephemera look aged, and as you can see, I can't stop. I carry on going because it's never enough in Amandaland, and you know, whilst all the stuff's there, I will keep going and use up that washer until all of that ephemera is all lovely and looking old. And here's another tip: you can fold things and that will add creases. You can make those little folded envelopes, and then but I do it to accentuate the creases, and then when you add your distress ink, it looks aged, like it's been used, like it's been sat somewhere for years. Okay, so there's that little fold again, in case you want to see it again, because I've sped it up to make the video quicker. I hope those tips helped you today. Go and have some fun and make your ephemera look even better than it is. Bye for now.